This week is all about honoring what is emerging, what potential you are stepping into now that you have cleared the way. So let's get started.
Welcome to the I'm Perfectly Divine podcast, a place for the strong, sensitive, spiritual seeker to recognize the perfection of your human journey as a pathway to remembering your emotional and spiritual worlds through proven and grounded frameworks that support you to live in the wholeness you already are. For over the past 2 decades, I have supported people from all around the world, as well as Fortune 500 companies, to dissolve the divisions within them and live with greater empowerment and love. This podcast is an exploration of the paradoxes that befuddle us as we live our lives being both human and divine. Together, you and I, along with other experts, will navigate integrating psychology and spirituality, the divine feminine and the divine masculine, the darkness and the light, to create greater sacred union from within. I believe through your remembering that you are innately divine, that you will allow yourself to more openly shine. So let's get to it, because your unique light is needed more than ever.
Hello and welcome to I'm Perfectly Divine podcast. Welcome spring. If you are in the Northern Hemisphere, you are celebrating this spring, and I don't know about you, but I am just so ready and already feeling the power of this time of rebirth and the potential that is coming forward now. And everything that we have gone through in the winter season, there has been a lot of intensity, and that's to support us so that as we come forward into this new potential, we are doing it more clearly, more consciously, more compassionately, and more in our power. And so this is a time where we are experiencing more light coming in, finally, and to really honor all that you have gone through before getting to this point where we have released so much so that we can move forward, connected to the fire in our bellies that's going to lead us and propel us forward with less weight, with less internal heaviness that we didn't even know we were carrying. And this energy is so needed right now because we are at this point of creating massive change in the world, which is why our winter season has felt so heavy, because there is so much that we are processing in order to get clear. So I don't know about you, but the last couple of weeks, I have just been crying so much more than normal, than usual for me. And I'm a sensitive person, but this was tears that I was feeling for our world, for my friends would share some news with me, and the tears could not help themselves. And then I had tears for myself. And so it's really being able to honor all that we have been holding and all that the winter was requiring us to process, along with this eclipse energy, which is like a magnification of a time to process, which is why so many of us have felt an intensity, because we are clearing our vessels. So again, that we are freer, that we are lighter, that we are more sovereign as we step more fully into the fires within us, and that are leading us to create transformation within ourselves and within the world, whatever that is for your heart and how you are being called to do that. And it was interesting. I was taking a walk on the beach, and I ran into a neighbor, and we were talking all things spiritual, because that's just her and I really connect on that level. And she reached a point where she said, are we doing enough? Are we doing enough? And I said, My ego would say absolutely not. If you look at everything going on in the world, my ego would say, no, you're not doing enough. And, how dare you spend your time at the beach, right? But what I told her is that we can't underestimate the time that we give to ourselves to process with courage that which is within us, so that as we move forward, it's with less distortion. And that's what we've been doing. And so it's really such a time to anchor this into our being, because it is the patriarchy that has guided us to say that all our time has to mean producing something, that it's always got to be action. But how often have we seen taking action where it's not centered from our hearts, where it's not centered in our knowingness? And the difference between taking action when we are clear, we just are very much anchored into what we know to be true and move from that place, rather than, I'll speak for myself, hop back on the hamster wheel thinking that I've got to meet my ego's standards to be productive. And so it is an honoring of this time that we have been processing, and honoring that our hearts have been broken open. And who on earth would try to keep telling ourselves to push ourselves through that in a way that's not compassionate to our journeys? And we can't underestimate what we are changing in the collective when we honor this for ourselves, because what we are doing is a practice of our own self-compassion that brings more compassion to the world, which is what we need. And so it can be filled with good intention, and we want to be clear within our hearts that are broken open what is next, what is right for us, because the tears have cleared away what is no longer working for us. The breaking open does not mean that we are broken. And I can't say that enough. It means we are breaking apart what no longer works. And that's what's happening in this world. And people are either going to turn towards it or away from it. And taking a walk is not turning away from it. Taking a walk and holding and being with all that you are holding is, how do I want to navigate this consciously? How do I want to navigate this from love? And what is mine to navigate? And we want to be clear with that, because each of us have a piece to this equation, and we want it to be coming from a place that is in alignment with who we are and who we came here to be. And that's why I'm always honoring the alchemy that is happening internally within myself, within one another, within the world. And so tears are a way to distill us back to our truth. You may remember in episode 329, where I went right into this little thread of uselessness. And as I shared, I could have totally avoided it, totally been like, yeah, 95% of me, 98% of me does not believe that. But I wanted to know the thread that didn't and bring it towards me. I want to understand what isn't working in the world and bring it towards me. And how do I hold it and honor every aspect of myself, of others, of life, and get clear on what is mine? And this is what we have been processing. And again, the alchemy of tears is an internal alchemical process that is there to free us, that is there to distill what remains so that the I am that you are remains very, very clear and attuned to you. So when we think about the internal processes of alchemy and emotional alchemy, it's done through both water and fire. And we go through more than one process with water and fire. And when we are in a place of refining, which is where the winter season brings us, the tears bring us clarity. That's why so often we've just intuitively have known that, a good cry, like we need a good cry because there's a release, and then that we are distilling more of our truth, more of our inner knowingness through that release, rather than trying to hold on to pain, ways of living that don't serve us, and holding on to that which isn't ours to hold on to. And we want to honor what we've once held on to, but also have compassion for ourselves as we let go of what has spilled over. And that's what I have certainly been witnessing in the world and with friends. And intuitively, it brought me to think about the card in the tarot deck, the Five of Cups. And so the tarot deck that I use is the Moonchild Tarot. I love it. It's there's like this Egyptian quality to it. And different decks have different images with the Five of Cups. This one, interestingly, has one cup spilled over. Some have more than one cup spilled over. And this person's body is turned towards this cup because there's grief when we have been holding something that's been important to us and it spills. It's not working, it's lost, it's gone. And people that I know and love and care about have been going through major losses, major things spilling. And so our human selves must process that, or we at least want to, so that we can know the aspect of us that has broken open to receive more. And so in this deck, what I love about it is there's one cup spilled over. The body is turned towards this. The body still has to work through the humanity, the humanness of this loss, of this struggle, of this challenge. And yet, there are four cups in this deck that remain upright. And this person's face is already turned towards these filled cups, these cups that stand upright. So there's an intuitive knowing that there's something beyond this spilled cup. But we can't neglect our humanity. Because again, there is something that we want to open ourselves to both release as our heart breaks open, and to receive, because that breaking open creates more space. And these four cups in this deck lead to like a gateway or a threshold. And I just love this because the cups in tarot, in the feminine mysteries, are our emotions. The cups, the grail is the water, the emotions, our relationships, our intuition. It's the subconscious, it's the realm of the heart. It's a wisdom that we get to through the process of dissolution as we allow the tears, the sacred tears, to flow. And these upturned cups are the feminine mystery of the way forward to the next threshold. And so at thresholds, this is where we are guided to hold contradiction without collapsing. And from so many that I am hearing from, this is where we're at. Can we hold contradiction without collapsing? There are horrendous things happening in the world, and there's still good. And we are being called to hold both. Because if we don't, we're going to collapse. We're going to get lost. We're going to feel more broken. And we never are. But only we can be the ones to know that, to continue to reiterate that in our being. And what I've seen over and over is how some have seen how they are called to hold differently in their personal or family relationships. And the big theme that's shown up for people is I'm still here to hold, but I'm not going to do the heavy lifting for people. So being sensitive, it can be very easy, especially if you have a gift towards being tuned into emotion and there's someone else in your life that doesn't, that you feel that you're the one that has to process that for them. You're the one that has to help them navigate that. And there's a difference between trying to fix that for someone and holding them with love, with compassion, so you can free both yourself and that other person. And this is what is being required of us, that we allow ourselves to be freed up and, and not try to fix or resolve something for others that is theirs to do. And it's a letting go to let people take care of themselves. And understanding that this frees up you and them. Because what we are doing is we are freeing up in ourselves an identity that unconsciously is seeking value by being the fixer, by being the one that is wise and knows how to process emotion, to get, for our egos to get a sense of value from that. And we know it's to a detriment when it feels like weight to us, when we're tired of worrying so much. And this is our opportunity to instead proclaim our inherent value and do the same for another. As we hold our own inherent value, we hold love without trying to do life for another. And we trust how our intuitive guidance is leading us forward, regardless if someone agrees with it or not. That we know in our hearts that we have to free ourselves from this. And so we can hold as witness and to honor the power of holding something as witness with love, with compassion, while allowing others to take their human steps that are going to be messy, that they are going to do it different than you would like or how you would do it, so they can have their own journey to know thyself. Because this is the whole point of why we are here. That we go through this transformational process that only we can give to ourselves. And I honor you. I honor you that you are not turning away from it with everything that's going on in the world, within your relationships, within you, you're not turning away. And this is a time as we rebirth and we are entering, bringing forward into the earth the potential that is waiting, that is that is coming forward now is filled with your courage and strength that you wouldn't have gained any other way. And so, with that wisdom, trusting others that they can do the same, even if their strength is an emotion, because just you and how you are being is a guide. It is enough. And we've got to balance and hold the contradiction that it's not always about action. And you know that so deeply within your heart, but we've got to work even harder to reiterate it because we've been told to turn against it. We've been told it doesn't matter. We've been told it's not enough. When really it is everything. Like you being a solid, clear as possible, conscious, emotional container is everything right now, is so needed right now. And so don't you dare dismiss it under the guise of, I need to be acting more, producing more. We are entering a time of action. Don't worry. Spring has sprung. We've got fires in our bellies, and we're going to be clear as to where to put our attention and focus so that it is truly in alignment with our hearts and knowing that that's where we are meant to make the greatest impact. And you can trust that rather than be scattered as I've done or jump on that hamster wheel as I've done. And what we are doing, we are not just freeing ourselves, we are completely changing the dynamics between you and another energetically when you allow someone to have their journey and hold it with compassion and love. Because you're saying, I trust you to handle it. And you're probably going to handle it imperfectly, just like I did. And I trust that your journey is perfectly designed, just like mine is. Again, even when it's messy, even when it's challenging, even when it is not going to be how you would do things. And that's how we get to learn from one another. That's how we get to understand one another. So when you hold that person at that level of trust, you are respecting them and yourself. And this is a different experience of love energetically that will be felt from another. You're allowing them, you're giving them the space to step into their power and letting go of the ways that unconsciously we try to control things, and we let go of trying to control things that are not meant for you so that you can be the freer, more fuller expression that you came here to be. So as we spring into spring, as we honor the egg of potential that is coming forward at this time, filled with mystery, we also want to honor what you held, because I know you held it from love. And what you learned from release, because that new emerging you is so important, and I want you to feel anchored into it. And what you have to do differently this time, that both empowers and nurtures you, and that we will not neglect, diminish that which nurtures, because we need that nurturance in order to be in our power. So from a heart that has been broken open from pain, that is what allows the release. And if you're not watching me on video, the natural expression that comes through me is that it's a breaking open. So my hands expand open. And that's a spaciousness right there. a spaciousness that you have created through your courage to be willing to be with the aspects within yourself and within the world that others turn away from. And just because you didn't do every single thing that your ego tells you you should have or ought to have done, to honor the way you stood in it and held it, and I'm sure have taken some action while honoring the refinement process that's been happening through you, because it's going to make your actions more powerful, your actions more clear, your actions more poignant, your actions more aligned, your actions more you. And if you're still grieving, to allow your body to grieve, because only you know the level, the depth of that loss of the cup or cups that have spilled over. And you will honor yourself for this aspect of your life, because you know intuitively there's other cups down the road, and we can't rush to them, because again, the cups are our emotions, they're intuitive. It can't be forced. It's the feminine mysteries guiding us to what's next. But there's a promise, there's a threshold that we are embarking on, that we are meeting each other at, that is rebirthing a new story into our world. And so we want to honor where each of us are at in that process. Honor the spaciousness that you've been willing to create, because that's expansion. We've been broken, more fully open, so that now there is more fullness in what you are claiming within. That completeness to who you've always been is being recognized. And it's powerful and it's celebratory. So I invite you to take a moment to honor as you emerge into spring. And you can say to yourself, I emerge with both compassion and strength. I trust my instincts to guide me forward to the next threshold that's going to anchor me into the earth. As I proclaim, I am here. I am here. And then whatever that means for your heart, what's next for you, knowing it will appear because you've claimed it, you've anchored in, and you know the cups that await you, that are filled with goodness, are calling you, they're beckoning you forward. And because you've listened to your emotions, which are tied to your intuition, you're going to be more intuitive to be able to receive the cups that are waiting for you. And they're there, right around the corner. But we can't rush it. And you know this. And that was part of winter. It felt like a very elongated winter, to help us remember that in our patience, we honor the divine timing of what is ready to be revealed next, and honoring the unique expression of your potential emerging through you at this time. So until next time, remember, there's nothing to fix, not even the heartbreak. Just to remember your truth and power, so you can more deeply embody the love you came here to be. Thank you so much for tuning in, for sharing your likes. I appreciate you. I appreciate this community. I honor you. And I look forward to seeing you next week.
I am so honored you have joined me today. If you enjoyed the I'm Perfectly Divine podcast, subscribe so you don't miss any of our power-filled episodes. Also, if you know another who is strong, sensitive, and spiritual, and wants to dive deeper into emotions and ancient wisdom so they too can create profound peace and fulfillment from within, please share this podcast. Thank you again for joining me, and I look forward to reconnecting with you soon.